Hey everyone, so hi, it's Trish once again, and today we are going to work in another one of Jade Summer's coloring books, and this is from Hidden Garden, and this is the page that I have chosen to work with today. Hopefully you guys can see all that. And yeah, so we're going to be working on this. I'm going to be using my Prismacolor Premier pencils. And I thought for today we'll just go ahead and get started. And just by filling in, these leaves and stuff like that, the stems and whichever leaves that we can. And we'll start with that video for today. So let's just go ahead and get started. I'm gonna go ahead and start filling out these stem areas right here, and I want it to be a little darker green than the rest of the leaves that I'm going to be coloring in here. So I'm going to be using my dark green. That is the PC908. So yeah, let's get started. Let me just make sure that my volume and everything is okay here. Okay, so just wanted to turn the volume down a little bit on my end so that you guys can at least hear me when the recording is um recording is made. So I'm just gonna grab, like I said, grabbing my dark green, and I'm just gonna go ahead and start just filling out these colors, these stems here with the dark green. Just really, the pressure that I'm using is just a very light pressure, just enough to, fill in these guys here and work all the way to the top till I finish it all. So just go ahead and, I'm not going to be using any special techniques or anything with this particular part of this page. So just go ahead and just grab your dark green pencil and just use some, just pretty light pressure and just fill this in. And that's pretty much what I'm just going to be doing as I'm working in on here right now. This is pretty much just showing you guys how I would go about and just coloring this piece in. I do like Jade Summer's books. Some of them do have a lot of detail, and they do have a lot of like leaves and flowers and stuff like that. But I do enjoy coloring flowers and garden themes, and just doing something simple like this is just very relaxing. There's really no stress. I'm not trying to rush myself and, you know, finishing this. So just go at your own pace and whatnot. this is going to be pretty much just the same process that I'm going to use for the rest of the, the stem of, well, the stem of flowers. It's just going to be just basic, your just basic dark green. Just fill that in as best as you can. And I know there's like some tight spaces in here and all that, so if you find that your pencil tip is, starting to get too nubby in order to fit in between the spaces, just go ahead and sharpen it. I'm thinking of adding a background in later on, once we finish, all the whole picture. Not quite sure if I'm going to fill it in with pencils or if I'm going to use like pastel chalk or whatnot. But I do want to give this one a background. And I guess it all depends on how everything turns out, what colors I'll end up using, and I'll base the color of my background. But I'm going to try to make it simple. I just want this page to be a simple one. And so I have some little tight spots in here. As you can see, I don't have my camera like zoomed in because otherwise I'll be just messing with my camera a whole lot with zooming in and zooming out. But the whole process is pretty much just filling in these stems, filling in with the dark green color. And that's pretty much the goal right now. I can feel that the nub of my pencil is starting to feel a little, it just feels like I need to, go ahead and sharpen. So I will just finish up this last piece of the stem here, and then I will sharpen. And if you feel that you still have, if you see or feel that your stem here still has some, you know, the white of the background from the tubes of the paper showing through, it will all depend on how much pressure you decide to use. I'm going to go ahead and sharpen my pencil. But yeah, but if you see, just like I said, depends on how much pressure you're using as you're putting that color down. Um, and I'm just pretty much just using just some pretty light pressure, and I like to work in layers unless I am working on a piece that I really want to saturate with color and blend in. So right now I'm just kind of like going over, the same stem with just another layer of the dark green and just working my way down here. I'm not trying to burnish the paper or anything like that by using a heavy hand. And most likely, knowing me, I'll end up using my Prismacolor colorless blending pencil just to kind of, smooth blend everything out and make sure that I have those those white breakthrough areas from the paper covered up sufficiently. I'm hoping I can make this video as simple as possible for everyone that likes to follow along and just color. I just want this to be like a relaxing one. And I'm still attempting and coloring in this area, just using, soft circular strokes. I mean, that's just my method of coloring, and I don't really like to go heavy-handed on a piece unless, unless I'm trying to go for a certain effect. Okay, so almost done with this first one. So yeah, I'm guessing that this part of this video is going to be mainly just focusing on, the leaves and stuff. So that's pretty much my goal of how far I want to accomplish this. So I've got the first stem done, and now I'm going to go ahead and just work on the second one. And from what I'm seeing, there's 3 of these long stem types. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue to fill it in. If you guys have watched some of my videos in the past, you notice that my videos are longer probably than most coloring videos that are out there right now. I mean, I just feel that, there are some of us that like to be able to see a coloring process step by step with no rush, and being able to see each step as, as we go along. And I feel this just helps. I mean, yeah, time lapses, and I do watch them every now and again, the ones that fast forward and stuff like that. And those are for, some people like that and can follow along, and I can follow along through them, but I also, majority of the time, if, I'm trying to learn new techniques in coloring, I do like to watch the slower, you know, this just a slower way of, going step by step and just watching the whole process. And that way I'm not, not missing anything, and I can understand a little bit better of what's going on and how that colorist is achieving their results. So that's pretty much how I work, and I do a lot of chit chat as well. So stuff that comes out of my mouth could be random. I guess it all depends on the day and how I'm feeling for the day. And some part of this coloring, maybe, during this coloring, I might get quiet a little bit, and that's, just because sometimes I'm just zoning out and relaxing and just enjoying the process of just coloring. It is actually weird just to sit here and just color and talk, and and sometimes, it's kind of hard to find words to say, so I figured, you know what, just chat and color. I mean, it's not a bad idea. My animals might chime in every now and again, so it all just depends. Every day is a different day. Okay, Okay, so I'm continuing just to move up. I mean, also the other reason why I'm not zooming in like, I would normally try to do when I'm coloring a certain piece is because this page here is a pretty, it's, these stems that we're coloring in right now is, it covers up the whole page. But at least I can gauge that you guys are pretty much seeing, what I'm doing, and I'm trying my best to explain to you, you know, how I'm going about coloring this page. So I'm just laying my first, just my first layer down. It also depends on the type of paper that you use, like I said, also um, on how well that paper will take your colored pencils. I have yet had the chance, I know I've been saying this for a good 2 weeks now, to go and pick myself up a pack of just the regular cardstock paper, like you can get from Walmart or whatnot. I don't know why I keep forgetting. So actually this paper that I'm using right now is a Canson mixed media paper. So I'm going to finish up the top, up to the top of this stem here, and then I will resharpen my pencil and then work my way down for the second layer just to fill in the stem with more color, and then continue on to the next stem. Most of my videos will be in multi-parts, multi-series, because they are long. Okay, so I've gotten that first layer down. I'm just going to go ahead and sharpen my pencil here real quick, and then move on down and fill in the rest. Fill it in again with just another layer. Okay, so pencil is sharpened, and I'm going to try to pull this down a little bit so you guys can actually see, and just going over everything that I previously colored with just another, light layer of this dark green that I'm using. One of these days, I am really hoping that I can get my hands on some Faber-Castell polychromos. I have a little set, but I mean, it's just a 12-piece set that a friend has sent to me, and I baby those guys, and I have played with them, and I love them. But not all of us can just go out and afford to just go out and buy them. But it's just one of those things. Just daydreaming. I mean, I'm happy with any medium really that I use. So just continuing down and adding in that second layer. It is Friday today, so those of you that work the 9 to 5 grind Monday through Friday, I'm pretty sure you guys are stoked about having the weekend off. I know when I was working, as a nurse, Mondays to Fridays, weekends. There's no such thing. I worked, random hours, um, double shifts. Didn't matter if it was a holiday or weekend. So, I know that there are jobs out there that is just not a 9 to 5. Okay, so the second part of that stem is filled in. And so we're going to go ahead and get this third part filled in. Okay, just coming on in with my first layer here. And then we'll start working on, the rest of the leaves that are in this image. I actually have so many coloring projects that I'm working on, so I'm kind of like back and forth in between them, and just trying to work in each of them as, as I can, and that's my own fault. I just, I usually have, in the past, I usually just worked on, starting a piece and not picking up or starting another picture until I finished up the one that I, have chosen to work on. But as of lately, in between, trying, to come out with some videos for you guys to follow me along with. And then I have, I'm a member of a couple of coloring groups on Facebook, as a lot of us are. And I'm also a member of a couple of, uh, I guess, teams, coloring teams. And, part of our agreement with that is to also, color that certain artists, their work and stuff, and help them get the word out about their books and whatnot. So I pretty much just spread my time as much as I can to fulfill all of those obligations, and I'm here just knocking over my camera, just bumping right into it. My tip of my pencil is starting to get a little nubby again. But I'm not so worried about it yet. I'll sharpen it on my next round once I reach the top and starting to fill it in with another layer as I go down. Okay, sharpen up my pencil, give it a couple turns there, and come back up and start from the top, and I'm just going to work my way down. Adding that second layer of color. And I'm not going to worry about using my colorless blending pencil on this right now until I'm pretty much, done later on. It looks like I missed a little spot right there. So I'm going to go over that. Okay, got that guy that my eye missed. But yeah, like I said, I'm not going to use my colors blending pencil until later on. I might not, may not need to use it. It'll all just depend on how the rest of, this coloring process goes along and if I feel that I need to. Looks like we got a couple of caterpillars in here and little bugs on this page as well. And we're definitely going to have to come up with colors for those little guys so they can be noticed too. Okay, so we're pretty much done with these three big stems here. Just a tiny bit more to go. Okay, so I've gotten all those three stems filled in with my dark green color, and I guess we can go ahead and start filling in, these leaves over here. So we'll just go ahead and randomly just start adding our colors in and then just work our way on top. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on these guys over here. I'm gonna get those leaves colored in and let's get started. I think I'm gonna go ahead and fill in the colors in with the spring green, the PC 913. So hopefully you guys can see that. All right, and I'm gonna work on these bigger flowers over here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and fill out the leaves. I'm gonna use just a some light pressure. Just get those guys filled in. And then I will come in with a darker shade of green to give it a little bit more life to it. I'm going to go ahead and fill in this whole area with these leaves that are the same. Okay, so I think I've gotten those leaves done. So those were filled in with just some spring green. And now I think I will come on in with I'm going to use, let's see, Prussian green. So you guys can get those out. If you guys can see it, that is the PC 109. I'm trying to see if it would focus on it. But yeah, so it's Prussian green PC 109. And I'm just going to go ahead and kind of just outline the edges of each of the leaf. Outline those lines right down here in the middle one as well. Just adding a tad bit more, just a tad bit more pressure so that the color lays down a little bit thicker, I guess, if you can call it that, just so when I go in and blend it with another color, which of course I will be doing, it would help, you know, it would help blend it out and bring the colors together. So I'm going to do this with each of the leaves. Okay, let me see if I can zoom in just a bit so you guys can actually see exactly. Let me see if it's going to work. Not sure if it's going to quite work or not, but it looks like that's as zoomed in as I'm going to get right now. Like I said, I'm just kind of just outlining all the lines. Of the leaf here. And it's going to be the same process for all these leaves. I might go ahead and continue on and just do the same thing for the rest of the leaves that are in this design on this page. So I'm just outlining, adding that color in there, getting a nice, trying to get a nice amount of pigment onto the paper for easier blending purposes. Okay, especially those areas right there on the sides. So it's like just outlining towards the sides. And let's just get those guys filled in. Okay, so I've got that. Then I'm going to continue on to these guys over here. I'm trying to angle my hand, my pencil, so you can at least see what I'm doing if you guys really want to be able to follow along thoroughly. But it's the same thing. I'm doing the same thing, just outlining the leaves, the part of the leaves, as I was doing in the other ones, the other three that we did. I'm not really, if you notice, I'm not really being precise either. I'm just making sure that there's enough pigment on the paper, because that will just be blended in later on. Okay, we got one more leaf down here, and then we'll choose another color. It's going to be a lighter color, just so we can use that to blend the colors together. So there. You see, I think I need a little bit more color. I'm looking onto my screen and I can see that there is quite a bit of white showing through, so I'm just going to go over that a little bit here. because like I said, I want enough of that pigment so I can drag it along and drag it around once I get into using another color to blend everything together. Okay, so far it's looking like that should work just fine. And I'm gonna go ahead again. Let me see. I think I want to go ahead and use my apple green, the PC 912. So apple green PC 912. Okay. And what I'm basically going to do is just use this apple green and just go over the whole leaf and using it to blend all the colors together, especially, you know, those areas where I outlined. So if you have enough of that pigment on the paper, and it should drag out, you know, a little bit. Should drag out just a little bit, just to give your leaf you know, a nice cool effect and won't be so bland. And then just those little lines right there. I'm just deepening up the color using that apple green. And there, so that's the effect that I've gotten from that. So we'll just go ahead and continue on. Same process, just blending in. I am using, I would say some medium pressure. And as you can see, as I am blending out that Prussian green that I laid down as a, you know, as the outline for the leaves, you guys can see that it's dragging into the rest of the color with the leaf, and that is, you know, pretty much the effect that we're going for. Like I said, it just gives it a nice little different effect. And then these lines here, you know, those leaves got those two vertical lines. I'm just filling that in with the spring green and just really filling it out. Okay, so that's leaf number 2, and let's just go ahead and continue on and fill out the rest and blend the rest of these leaves together. And like I said, this is going to be the same design, same process that I'm going to use for all of the leaves that are of the same design on this page, okay? There we go. Next one. Dragging and blending that Prussian green along with this apple green, just to blend the colors together. Like I said, I'm using some, you know, some medium pressure just so that I can grab that color. There we go. One more guy over here. Just making sure I've got it as blended as I can. And there you go. So those are the effects that I've got with that method, okay? So like I said, with all the leaves that are of the same design, and there's a couple of spots on the page, which I will go ahead and zoom out so you guys can see what I'm pointing at. So we have some of those leaves. Let's take a look up here. So we have some up here. We have some, let's see if I can bring my page down a bit. It looks like it's not quite catching the whole page. Yeah, so leaves here, you know, same designs. And we got a couple more over here. And then some down here. So it's going to be all the same technique as what I used in here, okay? So it's going to be just using your spring green as your base layer, and then use your spring green as your base layer, the Prussian green to outline those areas, and the apple green to blend everything together. And that's going to be for all those designs. So we'll continue on with some of these other leaves over here and try to figure out what colors we want to make that. Let's see, I'm gonna go mess around and go random here. Sunburst yellow, see if I can get that. I know the light is hitting that foil area, so sunburst yellow, PC 917. I don't know if it's gonna focus or not, but yeah. So sunburst yellow, PC 917. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use this sunburst yellow and go on ahead and fill in these leaves down here at the bottom. It's going to be kind of like my base layer. And then we'll add some green in there just to give it a different oomph. And okay, so I've gotten that sunburst yellow, and I mean, if you guys have been watching my videos, I'm pretty random with my colors. I don't necessarily pick a color palette, so I just kind of just go with the flow. So what I'm thinking about doing is coming in with my olive green, my little guy that's getting short here. That is the PC 911. And let's take a look and see. I think I'm just going to go ahead and scribble that on, lay it on over here. You know, I am starting out with just a light scribble along towards the edges mostly, giving the tip a little bit more pigment to make it darker. It's mostly going to be the outer edges that are going to be filled in. I am going to leave a little bit of that sunburst yellow peeking through. Okay. And then I will use another lighter shade to go ahead and blend the colors together. So almost the same as we did with the, you know, these first set of leaves over here. Or just adding a touch of that sunburst yellow in there, and then we'll just blend it together. It's just going to be this little tips that I'm really making as dark as I can with this olive green. like I said, leaving a tad bit of that sunburst yellow just peeking through. Okay, and one more guy over here. Making the tip kind of like the darkest part of the leaf. And so that's what we've got. That's the results that we got so far with that. Okay, so with another color, and let's see, I think I'm gonna go in with my chartreuse to use as the blender part of this. So this is my chartreuse, and that's the PC 989. And just like what we did with these leaves here, I'm going to use this chartreuse with some medium pressure going over that olive green there and just blending it out. Just blending all the colors together pretty much. And yes, you're gonna have a little bit of that sunburst yellow still peeking through, and that's pretty much the effect that we're trying to achieve here. So yeah, this page is a simple page. We'll dive into more of Jade Summer's other images that she has available from, from her many books. So yeah, so we'll get to all those, as fast as I can. And once again, just to make this pretty simple, all the leaves that are of the same design and the rest of the picture here, like you got some here, you got plenty of them here. Let me see, you got those guys there, and then there's some other ones here, but you got plenty of those. But yeah, it's going to be the same process. So, just refer back, if you need to, just rewind forward and just check for the rest of the steps, and it's going to be the same thing. Now, for these guys over here, see, they've got more of an elongated shape of the leaf part. We're going to go ahead and do something different with that. It's just about pretty much the same as what I've done with my previous hidden garden page. So what I'm going to do is just hit that up with some sunburst yellow again. Sunburst yellow PC 917, and I am going to start with the tips of these leaves, just using some pretty good medium pressure. Okay, I'm really not trying to block your guys' view, so hopefully my explanations are making sense. But I'm just adding the sunburst yellow. It's a pretty good pressure right there at the tips. Leaving the bottom part of it white and uncolored. Like I said, we're going to make this page just really, really, really simple. Okay. And there you go with that. So we're going to leave that just like that, okay? Because this certain page has lots of leaves in it, and I don't want to overwhelm it with too much just green. Okay, so let's go ahead. I got some more of these leaves up here, and I'm going to do the same thing. It will probably be more helpful if you had your tip of your pencil, a bit sharpened, because it's going to be a tiny, tiny spaces to try to fill in. So a little nice sharpened tip would really help prevent you from coloring outside of the leaf. If you do, it's no big deal. Like I said, I am planning to add a background to this at the end once everything is colored in. And there you go. Okay, so that's that part. Now we got a different sets of leaves over here. I mean, with this guy right here, we've got some right here, and I'm going to use, like I said, this is going to be the same effect that I did over here. So all these little guys that are the same is going to be the same over there. For this one, I might give it just a little different color. That's because it's part of the flower. So let's see. Um, I'll go in with lime peel. How about that? Lime peel PC 1005. And I'm just going to go ahead and lay that over. I think I'm just going to go ahead and just color the tips of it. So I just got the tips of that in there, and then I'm going to use my Starburst Yellow. That's the PC 917, and just blend that in with that lime peel that we had laid down, and fill in the rest of the bottom of that leaf. There you go. Got some nice coverage on that. So there's that. And now let's go ahead and work on these little leaves over here. And let's see, what do we want to do? What do we want to do? I think I'm going to go ahead and start with my spring green. That's the PC 913. I'm going to give each of these leaves here a base color. Just going to scribble on some of that spring green on each of the leaves. So like I said, the main focus of this video today is going to be just on these leaves. So there you go. So we got that part on there. So that was the spring green. And then I think I want to come in with my dark green. And there we go, dark green, PC 908. And I think I need a little bit of a sharper tip than what I have on here. So I'm going to run it through my sharpener here real quick. Let's give it more of a sharpened edge. There you go. And let's take a look and see. Okay, I think, I got a little snaggler on there. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and come over it first with a light layer of this dark green. I'm going to just color in the bottom parts. I just want to get that fully covered, especially darker towards the bottom part. And then right here at the tip, just kind of define that tip there a little bit, and just have a little of that dark green peeking through. Blow some of that excess shavings off. Okay, and then continue on and do the same thing for the rest of these guys here. And try to get some, I know it's an odd little area right there. And I think I need a little bit more color here. I can see some of the white of the paper breaking through. So I'm just going to be showing you how I am coloring, what I've been showing you so far is how I am going to color, the rest of the leaves on this page. Um, I'm not going to go and color the whole page, in video here along with you guys, but I wanted to, go ahead and show you how I am planning to color, in these different shaped leaves. And you folks can go ahead and take your time and fill in the rest of the leaves with each process that we went through each design. And then we will come back and I will have mine filled out too and finished up, all the leaves, so that we can take a looky-see. And so that's that. So we've gotten, that spring green, and we got that dark green, and of course I always want to blend it out. So I am going to go ahead and come in with my chartreuse and PC 989. It's just a good way, lighter colors blending together. Use a lighter color. It just helps bring everything together without trying to cover up too much of the color that you have laid down, and especially if you want some, some pretty cool effects. So I'm coming in with more chartreuse, and I'm just going to grab up here on top where I laid that dark green and just blend everything together. I am going to go over on top of that dark green that I colored with a chartreuse. And the same thing for each of these other leaves here, okay? Really just blending everything together. And I'm thinking this is part of a flower, so we'll leave that alone as it is for now. And then we will take care of that little guy and another part of, next series of a video that I'll make. Okay. So those, I think those are, let me see. I'm just going to go and double check along while I'm here with you guys to make sure if there's any other type of leaves that may need attention to. And so far I am seeing that those are the three main type of leaves that they have in here. I'm guessing, no, actually we have some of these guys. These guys look like some leaves, a different set. So I think we'll go ahead and color these ones in too. Okay, so let's go ahead and figure out what colors we want to use. And I'm trying to give it a little bit of variation here. So let's go ahead and go in and jump in with some canary yellow. Okay, PC 916 canary yellow, and let me see if I can get my camera pointed over a little bit more to where I'm going to be working at. So yeah, so we got these different other leaves here that are variation from the other ones we colored, and I think that is the last of, you know, the different type of leaves that are in here. So this is just the other variation. So I'm gonna go in once again, going over the leaf with this canary yellow and using it as my base color. Just, you know, some regular pressure. I'm not using a whole lot of pressure here. My intent is just to cover the leaf with this canary yellow to give it a base color. And it looks like this one bottom leaf down here has a little guy hitchhiking along. So it's got a little bug over there. So we will leave him alone for now, and we will touch up on him later. Okay, so canary yellow has been laid down as our base color, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm taking my line peel, just giving a little sharpening here, coming in with line peel, and I'm going to go ahead and fill in the colors from here below first. So I'm just going to use this line peel and just add it on us. So just going in and filling it in. I'm using regular pressure for now. I'm eyeballing it. I just want to see what it's going to look like, and then come up on the top, give it a little bit of line peel love up there. Okay, I'm still going to come in with a darker color. I'm just using this line peel as just another color variation, just another hue to add on to the effects. So I'm just filling in mostly, you know, the tops, the edges, just kind of going around and leaving most of that middle part untouched. We're going to brighten this up later on with our flowers. Okay, so that's that second leaf, and then I work on these guys over here. This one has got a little hitchhiker on it. I'll have to figure out what color I want to use for him to make him a little bit more noticeable than what he is right now later. Okay, and then one more guy here. I said I'm still leaving most of that middle part untouched. besides from having that canary yellow as a base layer, or like that we did earlier. Okay, so that is that, and let me see. I'm trying to decide which green I want to use. Oop, hey, look at that, I got a runaway. And I think I'm going to come on in with my Prussian green, giving him a bit of a sharpen here. And we're going to darken up some of these areas here. So Prussian green, PC109. Okay. And just coming in and just deepening up that color. Just, you know, mostly towards the bottom parts, really. And I think I'm going to come in and give it like a medium pressure here, and then lightening up just a tad bit as I come on out. Looking at that, I'm just checking in between what I'm seeing on my page and what you guys are seeing. And I'm going to also use this Prussian green just to emphasize this middle line here, part of the leaf. Okay. And then coming up on the top here, darkening up the very, very edge of that. Okay, it's just the very, very tip of that. And then I'm just going to just use this Prussian green and just outline, you know, just staying close to the line towards the inside and just lining that up. Okay, so I think we've got that covered. And I've got a little bit of pencil shavings just kind of in there. And then we'll continue on and do the same thing with the rest of these leaves. Come on in with your Prussian green. Give it a little bit of medium pressure. Just to darken up that area a little bit. Just another color variation, another effect. Darken up the tips. And just outline, you know, follow that line towards the inside. And just come on down and just outline it. So some of that Prussian green is in with that leaf. Okay, let's go ahead and finish up with these two leaves with the Prussian green. And I just love playing with colors, and I'm random. I know that. I don't like specifically say what I'm going to use, you know, prior to my coloring. But just that's just the way how I approach it. I mean, sometimes, I want to, you know, I'm going to try one of these days to really stick with the palette, like kind of like pick out colors, pick out a color palette and try to stick with that. But no promises. Okay, so that guy is done there. And we got one more little guy here. You see, oh, I forgot to add my little extra green up in here. Okay, coming back down to this guy here. So like I said, I'm just showing you the different ways that I'm approaching and coloring the leaves on this page. And then I will let you guys continue on and let you guys finish up the rest, just using the same techniques with each of the same designs of the leaves. And I'll be doing the same, but I'll be doing it off camera. And then we will meet up again with, I guess will be a part 2. And by then we should have, have all of our leaves covered and colored in so that we can work on the flowers. Okay, so I'm trying to soften that up here a little bit. And now I'm going to, of course, I'm going to blend it in here a bit and just to soften up those colors. And what I'm going to be going to use is the canary yellow that we used as the base color. And here we go with the light again, and it's a PC 916, okay? I know it's really hard to tell the lighting, but that is canary yellow. And I'm gonna use that to blend it out, soften up those edges there as much as you can. I am using medium pressure just so that I can grab onto that darker pigment and just kind of just blending it all together until I'm satisfied, or until you're satisfied with how your picture, your leaf looks. If you feel that you want to darken up the edges again a little bit more, you can do that with, the that Prussian green. But I'm using the canary yellow as a blender right now. I used it as the base and I used it as the blending once I've got the colors that I've chosen laid down on the paper. Okay. I'm really gonna have to find some kind of color to make that guy pop. I'm not quite sure yet. He's just so tiny and hidden down there that he's really unnoticeable. Okay. And we got one more guy here. And also with Jade Summer's books, besides from Amazon, I know that she does have um, an Etsy page as well where you can download the pages to her books, and can also take a look at what else, as to what other books she has out there right now. And this one is the Hidden Garden book. Okay, so there we go. So we've gotten that done. And I hope that helped you guys a little bit on get started on this page. Okay, so like I said, I'm go ahead and just color in each of the leaves as shown in the video, as each step to each different kinds of leaves. Get that done, and I will be doing the same, and we will meet up again next time for part 2, and then we will work on our flowers. Okay, all right, happy coloring and enjoy. See you later.